Hi, everyone, and welcome back. We're going to talk about demand fading now. And so, this is another really good antecedent intervention that you can utilize for escape behaviors. So, what is demand fading? It's a strategy where the task demands are gradually increased over time. This builds tolerance for non-preferred tasks or instructions, and it's used when tasks trigger escape behavior. So if the child's running out of the room when they see a math worksheet, you might start with like a math problem, one problem on the worksheet, and see if they can complete this one problem successfully. And then you would end your trial or learning trial and go on with your day. The next day, you might try 2 problems. So it's a way we take the demand down to the very minimal and we slowly build it back up. The goal of this is we increase compliance with challenging tasks. We gradually build a really good tolerance for non-preferred instructions or activities. We minimize frustration and problem behavior. So it avoids abrupt task demands that can trigger escape or avoidance. This will build success through small, achievable steps. So the learners will feel competent and stay engaged as the demand increases. So overall, it can promote cooperation, reduces resistance by gradually increasing task expectations. Like cleaning your room, if you ask someone to clean a room and they engage in escape-related behaviors, you could maybe ask them to clean up one set of toys or put just few things back on the shelf. And then, you end the learning trial, go on about your day, and come back the next day and have them do a little bit more. The second you have escape-related behavior again, as you increase the tasks, you would back to your last little trial, which they did comply with. Why do we use this? It's the easiest way to increase compliance. For escape behavior, I always do demand fading first, even before behavior momentum. It gradually builds tolerance for non-preferred tasks. If I go do demand fading first, if it's appropriate, sometimes some things there's no way to fade the demand. It's just one demand that we just have to. There's no way to make it easier. And then I would go to a high P sequence or pre-Mac, but this would always be my first. It minimizes frustration and problem behavior. It promotes cooperation by breaking down small tasks, and it builds success through gradual progress. So a lot of this works in that when someone engages in escape-related behavior, the task is frustrating to them, probably because their skill level's not there yet, or there's something about the task which is adversive to them, like brushing teeth. The feeling of the toothbrush is adversive, or putting on clothes, trying to do buttons is adversive. When we gradually build when we go to the very easiest way or bit of a task, what happens is when they're successful, they know they can be successful with this, and it will roll into them being more successful as the task demands increase. It also helps because you're breaking it up. You can see exactly where the problem is. So if the problem is brushing teeth for a certain amount of time, so you may make the demand a couple seconds at first. They're just going to brush for a couple seconds and you increase that demand. You can really see where their tolerance level is. And maybe, and if that's such a problem, you can think of alternatives like softer toothbrush, different toothpaste, different things. Key components is identify how much the learner can currently do without a problem behavior. Begin with really brief, low effort demands. When they're compliant and engage in these small demands, make sure you reward them. They have to know that as they engage in these demands, they're going to get rewarded, get things that they want, and there'll be praise and acknowledgement of that. You really gradually increase. If you get to a point where you see the problem behavior, look at that step you just increased and see if there's something different about it. Can we modify or backtrack to the last bit where they didn't have behavior? Overall, it's a strategy where the task demands are gradually increased over time to help learners build tolerance for non-preferred tasks or instructions. This approach is often used For escape maintained behavior, it doesn't really work too well with anything else. It does need to be escape maintained. So you'd have to determine that with a functional behavior analysis. Practical tips for this is one, really clear instructions and reinforcement. So use really plain, direct language and provide positive reinforcement for compliance. Avoid increasing demands too quickly. So when you increase demands too quickly, you'll just get problem behavior. Again, this is probably the most common problem that people have with demand fading. You want to track the data, and it's just mastery for like this is the same as all our other mastery. You want them to be successful at least 3 times, if not more, with like wherever you're in the demand. If they're successful 3 times or more, 5 is better, then you would increase the demand. They can't be successful only 1 time, then you increase the demand. And combine this with visual supports or high P sequence requests. You want different interventions and techniques going on. When to use it. Use it for the task refusal or escape maintain behaviors. So another place to use it, which is really, really useful, is transitions into non-preferred tasks and make those tasks smaller and gradually increase them over time. And then you want to build the learner's tolerance and compliance for long or challenging tasks. This is the best for really long tasks, completing a whole worksheet. So many academic tasks are perfect for demand fading, but other tasks as well. Like brushing teeth, you bring it down to just a few seconds and you slowly increase it over time. Cleaning up a room, just clean up a little bit and then we'll slowly increase it over time. Don't fade too quickly. Watch for signs of distress or refusal. Always reinforce compliance, the natural reinforcement as well as all the real reinforcement as well, or like extra reinforcement that you give them. So the natural for cleaning room is to have a clean room, but you would give them extra on top of that. The natural for a math worksheet is being successful in math, but you would give them extra as well. Ensure reinforcers are motivating, so make sure you're doing those preference assessments and ensuring that you have reinforcers that are useful, and be consistent across environments. Maintain the approach with all your staff. So demand fading is gradually increase the task demand to build tolerance for non-preferred tasks. The goal is to increase compliance, minimize frustration and problem behavior, and build success through small steps. It addresses escape maintain behavior and eases into demands to reduce resistance. The key components is first, you've got to know where they are with that demand. Then you start small, tiny little steps. You reinforce compliance and you gradually increase your demands. Completing academic work, you might start with one problem and slowly increase to a full worksheet. Use clear instructions, reinforce, avoid increasing too quickly, track your data and combine with other strategies. It's great for any task refusal behaviors or when you introduce escape maintain behaviors, transitions, or programs requiring a lot of effort. Okay, thank you. I'll see you next video.